All right, welcome to Crossroads Sports Radio, episode number 412. I'm your host, Brandon Reef, joined always by my co-host, Jonathan Birdsong. JB, happy post-July 4th. How are you
Brandon froze
doing?
up. We cannot have no problems tonight.
Are you good?
I'm good, man. I don't know. Maybe my video's a little lagging,
No,
but
you're
I'm just
good.
gonna power.
You're good.
Okay. All right, man. Nah, man. It's good to be back, man. I know we have a special guest tonight. So I'm just gonna cut right into the chase, man. I know we got a lot to talk about. I know you people gonna go crazy about what I got to say about Brad Stevens and the Boston Celtics and about some of these trades and where potentially LeBron's gonna go. But no, man, we got a special guest tonight, Freddie Coleman from ESPN Radio. Grayson is with his presence, man. You know what I'm saying? Brandon's got a wormhole full of questions for him tonight when he comes on with us at 7:45. But like, man, we're going to some great interactions tonight, as you know, in the Crossroads Sports faction. But like, before he comes on, man, Brandon, where you want to start at, man?
Yeah, let's talk Pacers real quick. Indiana Pacers signed Kelly Oubre Jr. 2 years, 17 million. The type of player they needed, John, I feel a solid six man coming off the bench for this squad that can start when somebody needs a breather, can go out and get the points a la Ben Matherin style, like Ben Matherin was. Um, I know some people poo poo on this free agency signing, but man, I'm about it. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, you know, it didn't necessarily blow me away, but with the cap space and what the Pacers have available, they wasn't one to bring in another rookie. So you know, Kelly Oubre has spent some time around the league, whether it been Philadelphia, Phoenix, if anybody kind of remembers or whatnot. Um, a good value piece, man. There's nothing terrible about. There's nothing overwhelmingly great about Kelly Oubre either, but nothing terrible about Kelly Oubre. You know, what I'm saying, like a good value piece. Um, and like I said, like Brandon kind of said, we'll spell some guys some minutes at shooting guard at small forward for sure sometime during the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he definitely can, when we get somebody in foul trouble or whatnot, he can be able to pick up those pieces and those minutes to be able to score. And no, he's not a Ben Matherin. I'm sorry, but he's not Ben, but he can play like Ben. He can score. He can fill the buckets. Don't get me
Yeah, he's a
wrong.
scorer, right? Absolutely.
So, yeah, looking forward to seeing how he runs in. If you people think he's going to come in and be starter minutes immediately, no. Nimhard will still start.
All right.
Neesmith will still start. Um, and they're going to give this team a run and see what they can do as we kind of go into to next season. And by February, we'll kind of see because we got a 2-year window. Indiana's got a 2-year window. We'll talk to Freddie about the Pacers here too. And if they've done enough and what our expectations should be. We said it before, John. People need to temper what they're going to see early in the season because Halbert needs to be able to get back into form. So
Yeah,
I think by February we'll have a good idea.
yeah, but you know, fandom's gonna want more just because the fluctualnesses of the East. You know what I'm saying? We still kind of wait for another piece to kind of fall with that. What kind of happens in Cleveland? They just had a big free agent signing where they, you know what I'm saying, re-upped Donovan Mitchell. Do they bring back LeBron? Do they bring back James Harden? You know what I'm saying? Still kind of remains to be seen, but the East is kind of wide open. You know, Boston made the most boneheaded trades in recent history with moving Jalen Brown over to Philadelphia. And then the Knicks are still going to be probably on the mend just a little bit, you know, still somewhat on a championship high, but still on the mend. Just as you know, what I'm saying, press time as we kind of came on, Jalen Brunson having wrist surgery, man. So the fandom's going to want more, but you're
Mhm.
exactly right. They're going to kind of, you know, what I'm saying, temper. They're going to kind of temper, especially with Halliburton, temper some of their expectations, especially with Halliburton coming
Yeah.
back.
Um, we can get in the Jalen Brown thing. I think it's going to take forever to get through it all. But I listened to Brad Stevens' press conference last night, John, and I'll say it.
Real awkward,
To
real awkward.
the fact that he said it wasn't, it wasn't about, it was about money. It was about money and having two guys have 70% of your cap, all this, yada, yada. And then the owner says, well, it wasn't about the money. Well, wait a minute. It
Yeah,
is or it isn't about the
yeah.
money.
The other guy, David Chisholm, I think that's his name. I don't know. I can't remember, man. He comes out. He's the representation of the ownership. He said, "Man, we're this is a winning move." Well, you know,
Is your team better?
if you put the stats up there, man, yeah, you just kind of trading out 20 points for 20 points or whatever. But You know, there's a difference. There's a difference level in how Jaylen Brown plays versus how Paul George plays now. You know what I'm saying? You don't become third team All NBA, and you know what I'm saying. Like I said, Paul George kind of just skated through the season. You know what I'm saying? Glided through the season, and didn't really showed up with like one game out of the playoffs, man. So the team is not better. Will they win games? Sure, Brandon. They're not. You know what I'm saying? But like when they come up with this analytical stuff, man, like analytics is killing the league too.
Mm.
Analytics is killing the league, man. And like
Ask
I
Freddie
think
that one. I'm curious
I
of his response be to that.
well, I'm just saying killing some of the vibe. So like
Okay.
Jaylen Brown just kind of played. You know what I'm saying? They said he couldn't do what he couldn't do, what I couldn't do, what I can't do, and he kind of filled all those buckets. And then for them to come, like you know, what I'm saying again, come up short. Tatum, we know the story. Tatum didn't play in significantly in the playoffs, set out, and they lost the series. They was up 3-1. So
When,
you know,
when he was
it's
asked the question, "Are you a better team now?" and he says, "We will see." Man, that's not what you want after a trade for
that's
that
not what
fan
you want.
base.
It's like, man, just say they. I think people would have respected better if they just said we can't afford to have basically two $400 million players on
Right.
roster,
Keep
which
talking.
would
I'm going to
still
fix this light.
no, which still would have been a lie because there are teams that have what I'm saying, damn near three, what I'm saying, 300. Look, Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. You know what I'm saying? Combined that combined backcourt is up there. It's over $300 million, man. So you can have a team. Is just that what officially what I mean, so I'm saying we can get in the weeds of it, what Jaylen Brown was kind of saying, or what he was kind of questioning. You know what I'm saying? That's what ultimately got him traded. All this other like narratives, like former coaches and even former players kind of coming out and saying that he's not the man or he's not due diligent or he's not entitled to the money, man. Like this is the new NBA.
Mm.
And if you average and he played again, man, it's weird to me, man. It's Brent, it's weird to me how these pundits can come out and say these things, former players, you know what I'm saying, whether it be on TV or whatever, whether it be from 90s or whatever, you know what I'm saying, or you know what I'm saying, 5 years removed, and say Jaylen Brown's not the guy or an elite player. And we got Trey Young making $63 million, and
Mm.
there's no pushing that. We got, again, Luka Doncic. I hate to pull his card again, making 63 $63 million, and ain't got no push. You know, Kawhi
Right.
Leonard then glided through three contracts a minute. How many? And how much money does he play? How much money does he get per? You know what I'm saying, per year, 40 million, 5 million. And the Clippers was trying to underpay him underneath the table. So
Yeah.
when you have a guy like Jaylen Brown who plays hard, plays with intensity, puts a lot of things chips on his shoulder, you know what I'm saying, and they come out analytically say he's the seventh best player on the team, you know what I mean? That's bogus, man. That's
Hmm.
bogus. If you think Peyton Pritchard, and I love me some Peyton Pritchard, if you think he can level up, if you think you know what I'm saying, whoever else, Hugo Gonzalez, who they didn't want to trade in the Giannis deal anyway, can level up. I mean, there is some level up in those guys, but not to the level that you're gonna get, you know what I'm saying, third NBA type of talent of. And then again, Paul George doesn't play downhill anymore. Paul George does not play.
Boy.
Once Larry Bird told him he had to play power forward, he automatically became the Ole guy. If any, I mean, I recall from Oklahoma to anywhere else he's kind of been, man. Jump shooter now, man. I mean, still quality jump shooter, still quality shoulder scorer, man. But you're not going to
Well,
get 20.
here's
You're
the
not going to get. You're
thing.
not going to get 24 points out of Paul George every night.
Paul George, people are like, "Oh, well, Paul George had a hell of a first series, in the playoffs." Okay, that was after coming off a 30-something game suspension, right? Fresh legs going into the playoffs.
Correct.
Uh, don't expect you're going to get that Paul George up in Boston. You'd be sadly mistaken going into next year if you think he's going to be able.
Paul,
Paul George hasn't played a complete season, I don't think, in 4 years.
the best Paul George I've seen was when they took
Hey,
Cleveland to 7. Pacers took Cleveland to 7. He was the lead dog. That's the last time we kind of seen the elite level Paul George. That's it. And then if you talk about Oklahoma, Dame Lillard was telling him goodbye. Remember, he was waving
mhm.
everybody goodbye. So um, Philadelphia absorbed his contract. Lord knows why. You know what I'm saying? And Boston just did Philadelphia a favor to getting out of that contract. Um,
It has been a silly season in the NBA. It has been
yeah,
it really has been, and we're not done yet because we're waiting on LeBron to make his choice, which I think it's down to two. Really, I think it's the Warriors and the Cavs are the last two. I personally think.
yeah. Just go to Cleveland, bro. Just go to Northeast.
Hollywood ending.
Have a Hollywood ending. You know what I'm saying? Bronny's contract is cemented. He's gonna be playing, in, you know what I'm saying, in Golden State. I mean, sorry, in California, Los Angeles colors. You know what I'm saying, for this year. He'll probably get a couple of DNPs. He'll be playing. You know what I'm saying? We'll see him down there
Damn.
playing for the. And that's all good, man. As long as you get in rotation, getting some tick, man. The Lakers got a lot of, you know what I'm saying, as much as, you know what I'm saying, I think Jason Tatum got a lot of pressure on him with the second banana
What do
kind
you
of
think
going
of
out
this
the
Laker
way.
roster?
The Lakers got a lot of pressure on them. You have just removed the all-time leading scorer, the all-time everything. I get it. There's a lot of baggage that comes with LeBron James. We can get in that too. After Freddie Coleman comes on, there's a baggage. I mean, LeBron, he's a diva, all these things, man. But that's also winning, and like a great ticket sales coming LeBron, man. So Cleveland's probably going to inherit that back again. The Lakers got pressure on them, man. You got to make the playoffs, and they got to run deep. You spent money, free agency money. You even brought another Euro from over there. Some European player that's been waiting to get his Zubac on, get his Goga Patazzi on. You know, so we're gonna see what this like front end and backcourt got. And I'm not all gonna say it's all super slow. But
No.
if this is saying Luka Doncic, this is for officially Luka Doncic's team,
Mm-hmm.
and like saying Laker fandom, y'all better get ready for the whining and him pouting about with the referees. But at the end
The
of the
team's
day,
not impressive to me on paper.
I get it. But at the end of the day, they better win some. They better win. They better, because they won games. They did at least win games with the King. They at least won games with the King. Championships is another conversation. But they at least
I
win
don't
games.
think they're above 45 wins this year.
Again, you can't overpay for talent either, man. Walker Kessler, seemingly,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You see why teams wasn't just they ultimately just gonna trade everything in the world for him. There's a short sample size of him being great, short
Mm-hmm.
sample size. So teams are apprehensive of kind of trading for that, man. So good future. Good luck for the Lakers. They don't have to deal now with like is LeBron like the the shadow of LeBron James
Right.
and Rich Paul making sideball comments about whoever. Whether it be Michael Jordan or whatever legacy that might have was in the 80s and 90s that basketball players had, man. So at least the Lakers can get out of those waters, and they can get out of the infighting of the family, because that's long gone now too. But like the fandom wants wins, and they fandom ultimately wants championships, man. But I don't know about that.
Yeah. I told Isaiah, our buddy, big Lakers guy, I said, I don't know if they get above 45.5 wins this year. But if that gets you in the playoffs, then like you said, so be it. But
Right.
I don't think this team's better than what they were. And there's a lot of teams in the West that have kind of improved. So I don't know. We'll see.
Remains
But
to be seen.
more needs to
Remains
be
to be
seen.
seen.
Absolutely. So, yeah, like we said, Crossroads Sports Radio. I want to thank our sponsor, Scott K. Nichols, State Farm Insurance, Thomas and Reed LLC. Without those guys, we would not be able to do the show we do. Now, John, I got a special guest we're going to bring on tonight's show. He is, to me, he is the voice of ESPN. He's one of the most recognizable voices in sports radio. Spent like 2 decades with ESPN Radio, covered Super Bowl stuff, NBA Finals, March Madness, college football, you name it. Most respectable broadcasters that they have today in the business. Currently co-host of Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio. New time coming up this fall. Freddie Coleman joins the show. Freddie, how are you, sir? Thank you for joining us.
I'm good, Brandon and Jonathan. How my boys doing today?
Good, good. It's nice, not as humid here in Indianapolis right now, so we're good. Celebrating the 4th, still have all 10 fingers.
Yeah, that's good. And believe me, I know about the humidity because in the Northeast, it was hotter than bad breath over the weekend before the rain finally came down and broke that heat a little bit. So I'm with you. That humidity, that can stay away for more than a little bit. No doubt about that.
Absolutely. Freddie, you are a guy that I have followed personally your journey. Probably, I would say, has to be early 2010s, because I was working in the hospitality business right out of college in 2009, and I worked the overnights for 2 years. So
Right.
you were my voice on the way downtown to work every night, late night, and on the shift, giving us everything sports related. So this was huge getting you on with us this evening.
Well, I really appreciate the ask and the kind words as well. And believe me, when you have a chance to be a part of something, because it's kind of hard to stay in our business 22 minutes, much less 22 years or even 2 years. So I always appreciate any time that somebody tells me that, because that means a lot to me. And I always tell people all the time, Brandon and Jonathan, I stand on the shoulders of people who gave us a chance to be heard. It could have been for 5 minutes, it could have been for 10 minutes, whatever that is. But giving us a chance when so much of time is more valuable than ever before, anybody gives us a chance to be heard and wants us to be listened to, we always appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've stood through the test of time. We've seen people come and go
Yes.
multiple times, right? And you are that fixture with ESPN. That's great to hear. And it brings me back. I was telling my wife the other day, we were driving somewhere and I had your show on, and I said this takes me back to driving late night downtown Indianapolis, skyline in the background, and we're recapping the NBA slate from the night. So absolutely.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So after all these years with ESPN radio,
Mhm.
what still gets you excited about walking in that studio every day?
I still get jazzed by having a chance to do that each and every day, each and every show basis. And that is something that I've never lost that hunger and lost that love for. It can be very easy that you have certain days where you don't want to be there, but I have not had that day. No matter how many people I've worked with, no matter what kind of changes that have been time and time again involving our lineup, where plenty of times you say, okay, why are they making that change? And other times you say to yourself, yeah, I understand why they're doing that. Once the light comes on and once they say, hey, Freddie, it's time to rock and roll, I'm always ready to rock and roll. So that has never, ever lessened any kind of love, any kind of effect to take away the joy from what I get each and every time to do what I'm able to do. And I felt the same way when I worked in local radio, when I was doing classic rock or top 40 or soul music. I've always been a radio geek. I've always been a radio head. That has never lessened and that has never been taken away. And it's something that I really embrace as a superpower, because it's been very easy to get jaded and not want to do it. But as long as I'm able to do it and people want to have me keep doing it, that love and that joy is never going to go away.
Yeah, John, also stylish outfits for Freddie. When he does his little preview, Freddie, it just rolls off the tongue, man. When you're sitting there talking about, bam, you go get on your emails, Alexa, you can get it here, ESPN Radio, the Sirius X. I mean, it flows, it's smooth. I love it. Smooth like butter, as I tell
Thank you.
Jonathan.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
So the sports media has changed dramatically, drastically over the last decade. What's been the biggest adjustment that you've had to make?
That everything happens instantaneously more than ever before, because Brandon, you're right. When you have so many different platforms that people can sample your product, whether it's terrestrial radio, whether it's streaming, smart speaker, whatever that is, online, whether it's X or Instagram or anything else, TikTok, so many people can get that information instantaneously. So when you grab somebody, you really have to grab them and not waste their time. And that was always our mantra anyway at ESPN Radio. I've always lived by that creed, no matter where I've been. I figure somebody's going to devote their time to me, then I want to make sure their time is not wasted. So we get right to whatever that subject's going to be or whatever's going on in our lives. And more than ever before, things happen in the blink of an eye, whether it's news, whether it's reaction, whether it's anything else in this day and age. So you have to do everything you can to be on top of things, but you also want to make sure that when you do that, you're giving people what they're looking for. When they tune in, they want to know what Brandon thinks about this or Jonathan thinks about that. You don't have to worry about trying to do something different when people are tuning into your show to see exactly how you feel and what you feel about that. And you get right to it and don't take that time away that is so precious.
Okay. Jonathan?
Where do you find time to fit it all in and not have so many? Because this is one of my pains, man. Absorbing sports, but also, what I'm saying, being able to block out. What I'm saying, I'm running right now. I'm running House of Dragon through my mind. I'm running, what I'm saying,
Uh-huh.
X-Men season 2, X-Men, what I'm saying, cartoon series. But I gotta block it out, man. I got fever games. I got racing that I gotta watch from this past weekend, man. So how do you kind of block out some of the noise as it pertains to, what I'm saying, you got it, because it's a lot of sports,
Yeah.
and Freddie, and then they know, if anybody doesn't know, they will after this interview is over. Like, my man is always prepared, and it doesn't seem like you're reading off a prompt, not a never. So, like, where do you find the time to get all the sports in so that it comes off authentic?
My mind just never stops, Jonathan. I believe, and I know for a fact, and plenty of people that have known me for a long, long time will tell you, I would be doing this if I was not in the business because I was doing this long before I became a part of sports talk radio. It's a blessing and a curse that my mind is always charging when it comes to wanting to find out and wanting to see and wanting to understand. And I always try to make sure what's the most important thing that I believe that people want to hear. What's the most important thing that's going to gravitate towards somebody? They want to gravitate towards that. And I just go from there. Everything else is an osmosis process where I don't try to tell everybody I'm going to learn everything because there are going to be things you're going to be missing. And I don't want to miss out on facts or any kind of detail that's going to cheapen the story, that's going to cheat the listener, that's going to cheat the viewer that's out there. So I focus on what is the most important and find a way to bring what I feel to it and always find a way to bring it the way I take to it. But at the same time, I'm always curious. I always want to know what's going on here, what's going on there. And even if I don't use it on any show that I do, I like doing it because I enjoy doing it. I want to find out exactly what led up to that or who led up to that or why that became what it wound up becoming. So those things are always going to be part of my person, no matter what I talk about, what I don't talk about each and every time on ESPN radio.
Okay. Well, Freddie, I'm going to hit some questions with you because we're
Sure.
big basketball nuts. As Jonathan always says, basketball never sleeps, especially
Exactly.
here.
Exactly.
How bad did Brad Stevens and the Celtics get it wrong? Getting rid of Jaylen Brown to a division rival and getting just back I don't want to say old Paul George, but past his prime PG.
Here's how they got it wrong in two ways. Number one, they traded a guy that didn't want to be traded. Jaylen Brown is a very intelligent individual, but he also loved playing in the city of Boston and playing for the Boston Celtics. You never heard him say one time, "Get me out of here," or any anonymous source close to Jaylen Brown that said that he wants out of Boston. He was going to express exactly how he felt. Maybe he's too honest with his own good, which I never thought was ever a problem. I'd rather have transparency and honesty than somebody trying to beat around the bush around things. You never have to worry about that with Jaylen Brown. And I firmly believe the Boston Celtics, because of the financial constraints in the NBA with the first apron and the second apron, they have a brand new ownership group. If Whit Grossbeck was still in charge of the Boston Celtics, we're not having this conversation about the Celtics getting it wrong by trading away a guy that's been a 5-time All-Star and has been the base of your operations ever since he got there when you drafted him 10 years ago. But when you have a new ownership group that came in, and the minute after they won the championship, they looked at two big-time salaries and said, you can't keep them. Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday. They had to move on from two guys who were really critical to their championship hopes, even though we know Kristaps Porzingis went through last year in the series against the New York Knicks where his health was going to be a concern. They told Brad Stevens and the Celtics organization, you have to pick one because we're not going to have two guys making at least $70 million on our payroll. And Jason Tatum is the golden child for the Boston Celtics. So that's where it came down. They also got it wrong by having a mixed message yesterday because Brad Stevens said that this was driven by finances. He didn't say it in so many words, but he said enough words where you could digest and understand it. And then you have Bill Chisholm, who's in charge of the Boston Celtics, saying finance had nothing to do with this. So one hand does not know what the other hand is doing. And you can't have that if you're the Boston Celtics and an organization like that. So there's so much wrong that they've gotten wrong. Absolutely. There's so much wrong they've gotten involved with trading away a player, Jaylen Brown, when you could have gotten Giannis Antetokounmpo for the same kind of package with Milwaukee, and you get an elder statesman and Paul George, who's not the two-way player they used to be, and you're hoping that the players you still have are going to accumulate will be enough for Jason Tatum, and the Celtics will still be a factor in the Eastern Conference.
Freddie, when I was laying in bed watching this press conference and cringing last night, and then I hear the icing on the cake, well, did this team get better? Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
That's not for the fan base. You're hearing that. It's like, wait a minute.
Well, yeah, but at least, Brandon, he didn't lie to the fan base. There's no way you can tell your fan base we got better by trading Jaylen Brown. Unless you got a Giannis or somebody of that equal value or better value in return, you can't convince a fan base we're going to be better because we got Paul George and draft picks who are not on this basketball team right now. I give Brad Stevens credit for not trying to tell everybody everything's fine. Do not pay attention to the man behind the curtain. He knows that he is the man behind the curtain that made this deal for Jaylen Brown. You can't just go out there and fake it and think your fan base is going to say, oh, yeah, he's exactly right about that.
Why do you think they rushed it? Because I thought, if they could say, hey, we're looking to trade Brown and made it a little more outgoing than they have. Couldn't they have gotten better offers?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Brandon. I don't know why they rushed it either, especially when they were really under no time constraint to do that. I firmly believe they wanted to have something done before they had to have that extension kick in regarding Jaylen Brown, because he had until July 26th. What if he decided to sign it? You can't say, no, you can't sign that. That's not what they collectively bargained when it comes to the Players Association and the rest of the NBA. That's why I believe they did this move quickly before things really got closer and closer to the point where those offers were not going to be there. And then you have to really come to a rubber in the road situation. You say, okay, he wants to sign the extension. We can't just pull that off the table.
Yeah. Okay. Which team do you so far believe has made the most improvement this offseason?
The team that traded for Jaylen Brown, that's the Philadelphia 76ers. And it all depends on if Joel Embiid is healthy, because if he is right for even 60 to 65 games, right now they're the only basketball team that you can look at and say on any given night they can get 25 points per game from 3 different guys. It's hard to score 20 points in the NBA. And you got 3 guys at any given time can give you 25, whether it's Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid. And BJ Edgecombe is on the come up, what he did in his rookie season. He's going to be one of the better two-way guards in another year or two in the NBA. He may want to be the best when it's all said and done at a certain point. So now you have 4 proven guys, and you have 4 two-way guys, in my opinion, that can do the defensive end when they're healthy. So automatically you look at Philadelphia, they say, okay, what do we need that we didn't have against the New York Knicks, that we did have when the Celtics let that series get away 3-1? You need somebody that, when you need a bucket getter that's above the height of 6'2", that can reduce that kind of pressure on Tyrese Maxey, and they got the right kind of guy in Jaylen Brown.
Okay. After a disappointing season that our Pacers had here after the big NBA Finals run, which was magical for this city and this state, my God, it was something we'll talk about for years, at least here we will. What realistic expectations should our Pacers fans have this year going into it? Tyrese Halliburton, who's going to be, I keep telling people, pump the brake, and get some legs underneath him. January, February, we'll find out. And then kind of adding Kelly Oubre for kind of that two-way player you said they were kind of missing after they got rid of Ben Mathurin a little bit.
Yeah, I think they can be a potential 45-win team because Rick Carlisle can still coach. I don't believe he's forgotten how to be a terrific coach in the NBA. If they can stay relatively healthy, look at the guys they're going to have with Pascal Siakam coming back, Tyrese Halliburton, you're exactly right, Brandon. You got to ease him into what he is going to be able to be, the kind of ball player. That may not happen until 2027, 2028, but he's worth waiting for because we see how magnetic he's been and how electric he's been, especially with the ball in his hands making plays. But this Pacers team, relatively healthy, they're going to be a team that could be a 6 or 7 seed. And maybe, just maybe, that's the kind of team you do not want to play in the first round of the playoffs, because they still have plenty of playoff experience that's going to be coming back for this basketball team. And the team that won the Eastern Conference Championship, you mentioned, like we all saw what they were able to do last year. If they're relatively healthy, they're going to keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And they could be that kind of team you say, man, we hope we don't draw them in a play-in, or we don't draw them in the first round of the playoffs.
Just remember, we were the last ones to beat the world champions in the playoffs twice.
That's true. That's true. That is very true. In back-to-back years. That's true.
We got their number.
Well,
John?
It's funny that you mentioned the world champions, Freddie, because I know you're a native New Yorker, man. Correct me if I'm wrong, Long Island, you're originally from Long Island?
Originally born in Brooklyn, but not too far from Long Island, yes.
Okay. Man, because I got a question about Long Island and rappers, man, because I feel like that's where they were born at. You know what I'm saying? From EPMD to Big Daddy Kane, all of them is Long Island rappers, man. But tell me how has it been in the greater New York area since the Knicks? What has been the reception since the 53-year drought is finally over?
I don't think we still can believe that we wake up each and every day and say, wow, our team are the world champions from last year. Because for the longest time, 53 years and no longer counting, we were wait until next year, wait until next year, wait until next year. Well, next year finally came. And the kind of run that they had throughout the playoffs, where many people doubted, could this team pull this off, especially when they were down 2-1 to the Atlanta Hawks in the first round series. Everybody had everybody fired, not named Jalen Brunson, when it came to the New York Knicks. And from that game on, they really just turned the screws on everybody. They only lost one game after that, and they lost to the San Antonio Spurs. They had a chance to win that ball game, or that could have been a sweep against the San Antonio Spurs in Game 3. And just having that kind of vibe that you always wonder, would you see that again? They are definitely New York's team because New York is one of the places where there's two of everything. There are two baseball teams, there are two football teams, there are two hockey teams. And everybody says, what about the Brooklyn Nets? I can tell you right now, the Brooklyn Nets are never going to matter in New York. They can win 3 or 4 championships in a row, and it's always going to be a New York Knicks town because that brought that city together. And just seeing everybody around that vibe to say, man, look at what our team was able to do when nobody thought that was going to be the case. And to pull it off in such spectacular fashion, what they did in game 4, being down by 29 points, they win that game. And then in game 5, Jalen Brunson takes over in the 4th quarter being the MVP. And then we find out today he did this with an injured wrist on his shooting hand, which means his legend goes to another level, what he was able to lead the New York Knicks to do. This is something you talk about what the Pacers did last year, getting to the NBA Finals and pushing Oklahoma City to a 7th game. And I would love to see how that game would have turned out had Tyrese Halliburton not popped his Achilles in that game. I gave the Pacers more than a puncher's chance to go into Game 7 in Oklahoma City and find a way to win that ball game. We're going to be talking about this. They're going to be writing books and babies being born, what the New York Knicks were able to do that nobody saw coming in 2026. And especially the way they did that, the kind of run that they have starting in Game 4 against the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, shoot, the Knicks winning that NBA title, you don't hear anybody talking about, oh my God, let's go get LeBron. We got to get LeBron in New York. Finally, they don't give a damn anymore. We got our championship. We got our guys. We got our crew. They're good. So with that being said, we have to ask you, Freddie, how do you see this LeBron situation playing out? Where do you personally think he's going to go? And what's the latest that's been going around? I've been working all day today, so I haven't gotten the latest.
Yeah, the tea leaves are telling me it's going to be Cleveland. A lot of people saying Philadelphia. I'm not buying that it's going to be Philadelphia. I don't think it's going to be a team like the Denver Nuggets. Golden State could still be in play, and I think they're working behind the scenes to make that happen. But signing Donovan Mitchell to that extension today, 4 years, $273 million, I wonder how much of that is that this is the face-off franchise. Who can we get to help him become the kind of face we believe he can be? Who better than the guy that literally put you on the map? Not only one time, but 2 times to LeBron James when he first was drafted by Cleveland. And then when he came back and led them to the NBA championship, part of that great finals run that he had with the Cleveland Cavaliers. It has all the makings that it could be a reunion part 2 involving LeBron James going to Cleveland. Cleveland and the Akron, Ohio area still have a major, major hold on his heart and in his soul. And now you get a chance that you're pairing with a Donovan Mitchell and Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley. Maybe James Harden can learn a thing or two about not crumbling under pressure in the playoffs. You could have the perfect teacher with perfect pupils on that team involving the Cleveland Cavaliers. If it's not Cleveland, I think it's more likely Golden State because he has not hid it about how he enjoyed playing with Steph Curry when they helped the United States win a gold medal in 2024. Playing in that kind of system would really allow a player, even though he's going into his 24th year, to still flourish and be an effective player.
Okay. I was going to ask you, does that mean James Harden was out there, but maybe he takes a reduced. Well, I mean, LeBron allegedly would be taking a reduced role or a contract himself, so maybe they can fit Harden in there. And yeah, we have another show that's here in Indianapolis that a group of guys, and there was one that's just a complete James Harden hater. Didn't think he was going to go anywhere in the playoffs, so he had to eat his words, and he's got to buy a Cleveland Cavaliers Harden jersey here coming up to wear. So
really, wow,
I'm holding him to it. So
you should. Because you may not see that again.
Yeah, I know, right? What's the biggest issue the NBA needs to address over the next 5 years, you think?
The biggest issue is how you're going to have the second apron where teams can no longer put super teams together because a lot of ownership groups are not going to do that. They're not going to go above and beyond that second apron and pay that luxury tax. I mean, we saw Golden State get below the second apron, and they were notorious for paying players constantly to make sure they keep that championship going. We're going to see a lot more fiscal responsibility involving teams, which means that a lot of building from within is going to happen. We've seen how Oklahoma City has shown the way. We've seen how the San Antonio Spurs doing the same thing that Oklahoma City has done. We've seen the Knicks do it a different way, where you take a chance on a guy like Jalen Brunson because you believe in him, then you fit the pieces around him. When you move on from draft picks from Mikal Bridges, you bring him in. You trade for OG Anunoby. We saw what he was able to do when healthy for the New York Knicks, and he's been a viable player. You go get Karl Anthony Towns when Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson didn't fit. So you can make it work that way if you're going to do that through free agency, but you don't have to pay through the nose, at least early on. and then you pay out those contracts later on, and then you hope that the salary cap more than likely is going to go up where you don't have to get that close to the second apron and pay that luxury tax. That's the one thing the NBA was going to focus on, because your player evaluations are really, really going to have to come into vogue. You can't just go out there and say, take a chance on somebody and hope that it works. No, you got to be pretty darn sure, no matter who you draft or who you don't draft or who you bring in, that your talent evaluators become the most important people in your organization, especially if you got a star, and how you can find guys that can fit around that star or those stars with your basketball team to be a championship contender. At least you hope so.
Okay. Got two more for you. Then we'll get you out of here. You've got I'm sure a busy day, and we're
no
very
problem.
gracious for you taking time with us.
My pleasure.
Outside of Wembanyama, what young superstar are you buying the most stock in over the next couple of years?
Young superstar, and the NBA has a bunch of guys loaded. I'll give you one that's on his basketball team, Dylan Harper. I think he's going to be tremendous. He could be a West Coast version of OG Anunoby. The ability to make shots on the outside, impact the game on the inside, really be a good defender. He's so smart. He's so strong. He's such a skilled player. He plays without wasting effort, always gets to his spots, and is a very efficient basketball player. That's one guy I have my eye, and I think it's going to be really, really good for the San Antonio Spurs. I'll give you a guy in the Eastern Conference that I think if he gets a chance to blossom, and he will, to get the right piece around him that could be a face of the NBA, that's Cade Cunningham, the Detroit Pistons. If they get him some more help, especially with outside shooters, he was just exhausted in Game 7. He was thinking, what more do you want me to do? I'm guarding the opposition's best player on the perimeter. I'm getting guys involved. I'm getting to the rim. I'm knocking down shots. I'm leading my team by example. By Game 7, you could tell, at least I could tell, right around the second quarter, I said, man, they're going to win. Other guys better step up, because he had nothing left for that basketball team. And it showed, and Cleveland did a great job hitting them early, hitting them often, and then hitting them later and finishing them off. But Cade Cunningham has all the makings that you say to yourself, we get the right kind of guys around him, especially on the outside with snipers. He can do some things and make this Detroit basketball team not just a team that has a great record in the regular season, and then for the second straight year fizzled out in the playoffs.
Okay.
And I'll give you one more from the Chicago Bulls. Josh Giddey is really, really good. And he had the right kind of situation for him where he was really able to thrive. They move on from Billy Donovan. Tiago Splitter can coach, man. You saw what he did with Dino Avia with the Portland Trailblazers, who was really, really good. He's going to be better than Al Shangun of the Houston Rockets, because he wants to play defense, and Al Shangun doesn't want to do that. Now Josh Giddey gets that guy coaching him, where his skill set is the kind of skill set he's a 5'2" baseball player in the NBA, where he can do everything at both ends of the floor. Having Tiago Splitter as his coach, we saw Josh Giddey really kind of come into his own last year. I think he's really going to explode for a Chicago Bulls team in 2026 and 2027.
Absolutely. Love it. Last question I have for you. When we look back at the summer of 26, do you think we'll remember as the offseason that LeBron changed the league one last time, or this offseason that the Celtics kind of reshaped the balance of power with the 76ers in the East?
I think we'll look at it. I'm going to combine both of those into this. We're going to look at is how many teams wanted to out-Knick the Knicks, because so many teams have made moves based on what the Knicks and that run did, because they're like, wait a minute, look how they're able to make that work. And wow, they were able to have everybody really be a symbiotic unit based on their guard, Jalen Brunson, everybody pulling together. Not saying you can't put a super team together, but the Knicks did it in the right way. They said, what pieces fit? It can't just be pick here, and hope that it fits. Philadelphia went after Jaylen Brown because they said, hey, he fits what we do with Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, and VJ Edgecombe, as far as that goes. The Toronto Raptors went and got Kawhi Leonard back in that team because he fits with what they do in Toronto. And I think the team's going to be really, really good in the Eastern Conference. A lot of teams aligned their team to say, okay, who can fit with our guys that we have right now? This way, maybe we can beat the San Antonio Spurs, or more likely the New York Knicks, because that camaraderie and that chemistry was really, really critical to the New York Knicks not panicking when they were down 2-1 in Atlanta, not panicking when they were down by 22 points in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and definitely not panicking when they were down by 29 points in the third quarter against the San Antonio Spurs. We always talk about copycats in a league. And when you do something that's successful, teams want to copy that. When Golden State had their success, everybody would do pace and space and shoot all these 3-pointers, not realizing that you kind of need Steph Curry and Klay Thompson to really make that work. When Indiana Pacers got going with their ability to run up and down the floor, teams said, let's do that. But you don't have the power that they do and the kind of players. You're going to see teams trying to say, hey, we got a young guard or a short point guard. If we surround with a big man, maybe we can do what the New York Knicks could do. They're going to try to find that chemistry that we saw from the New York Knicks, especially in the playoffs, winning their first championship since 1973.
Beautiful, beautiful. Freddie, where can they catch you at?
Well, they can always catch me on the socials at Coleman ESPN, and definitely on Freddie and Harry. We're still 3 to 7 right now, but August 3rd, we shift to 5 to 8 on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, catch on Sirius XM Channel 80, and always tell that smart speaker to play ESPN Radio.
Dude, it just rolls like butter off the tongue. So awesome, Freddie. Well, I want to thank you again for joining us tonight. We want to get you on, if we can, later on this year, college football. Yeah. We know you got plenty to talk about with NFL and college football, so we want to dive into that at some point.
Yeah, Brandon and Jonathan, let's do this again, man. I had a blast hanging out and chopping it with you guys, man, so can't wait to do it again sooner than soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Freddie. Have a good evening.
You too, guys. God bless you guys. Take care.
All right, John, that's our guy, Freddie Coleman, ESPN. Now reoccurring guest. Man, it just rolls with him, man.
Hey man, sometimes you just have to, I like to talk, man. Sometimes you have to shut up, man. I remember, listening to Freddie Coleman, early 2000s, late night and early morning, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, man. He be on it, dude, like fresh as a daisy, like it was like the game had just went off. You know what I mean? And it'd be like the 10 o'clock game. He'd be on it. So he's also good chopping it up. I didn't even tease him about, he probably, he definitely is the announcer that kind of, gave all the Pac-12 scores, the Pac-10 scores,
right?
When they kind of come in, at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, man. But like, nah, man, real good chopping it up with Freddie Coleman, man, ESPN Radio, man. I know me and Brandon Reef get in a lot of trouble with the deep state and whatnot when it comes to ESPN, the TV side, because we, we're all talking heads, man. But ESPN Radio, that's legit business, for the most part, man. My radio pretty much stays locked on, with the programming, and then when Freddie comes on, whether I know he's not with Fitzsimmons anymore, I could be wrong. I don't want to get in trouble, but like,
no, he's with Harry Douglas.
Yeah, Harry Douglas now, but like, man, nah. All right, the other one, man, ready to go. I shoot out the cannon with detail. If you ain't tapping into the Crossbow Sports Show and you up at, at those with their time with that broadcasting, definitely tap into to Coleman and Douglas for sure.
Yeah, 3 to 7 right now on ESPN Radio, and then they'll be moving to the 5 to 8 on August 3rd with their new revamped lineup. So. Yeah, he was one that I've followed for the longest time. We go back and forth on Twitter. And I was like, you know what? We need to try to get Freddie on. So I was glad to be able to get him on. He's a big hoops guy, so got to talk a lot of NBA free agency. I think we took away a lot, and I think our fans did too.
Yeah, he knows football for sure. Played a little football, and I do believe Mansfield College, small little university. You know what I'm saying? So he knows the gridiron as well, man. But we'll get him on here, real soon. But great chopping up with it for sure.
Yep. Absolutely. Just a couple things I have, John. We kind of talked about a lot of the NBA with him already. Donovan Mitchell's $273 million deal that he got there. I think some big news in racing, John. Scott Dixon and Felix Rosenqvist are defending Indy 500 champion. Joined Arrow McLaren Racing. Dixon, 25 years with Ganassi. Brown from McLaren, they really want to get that Indy 500, and now you've got a lineup. You got a 2014 next year, 2014 Indy 500 champion Ryan Hunter-Reay, 2008 Indy 500 champion Scott Dixon, 2025 Indy 500 champion Felix Rosenqvist, and then you got Pato O'Ward, the young gun who's finished in the top 5 or top 6 of the Indy 500 6 of his 7 years. They are going all chips in this next year and further going forward to try to win this Indy 500. So
win 500.
Huge shocking move in the silly season for IndyCar. Christian Lundgaard leaving. He just had a second place finish for McLaren this past weekend. So where he's going to go is going to be open. I think Ganassi may end up taking him in. But man, it's a lot of movement with IndyCar going on.
Yeah, well, as long as the auto races don't end up like, the PGA folks and, start, and, sending, D pics to tell
Phil?
people, Phil, he's out of rotation now, but as long as we can kind of keep, the PGA folks, at bay, man, and not go crazy like that. PGA and Liv right now is kind of go crazy, man. Liv supposed to come, is coming back to Westfield or not, Brandon?
It is. Give me 1 second because I do have to look
right.
at something.
I don't want to put you on. I don't want to put you on. Man,
No. They are.
They
I
had a
haven't
good,
heard anything different yet.
They had a good outing with the folks down in
But
Westfield.
I do have an issue with it.
Oh, what's going on?
So I'm hearing from people we're still having it. From the people locally here, city council, whatnot.
Okay.
The media credentials for me to apply was initially supposed to be 3 weeks ago, and they pushed it back to July 6th, yesterday.
Okay.
It's still not open yet today.
Okay.
And they're usually pretty on top of things. So I'm a
Right,
little
they were
concerned.
pretty on top of it last year, man.
We are all just over a month away, and it's still not open yet. And maybe there's whoever's in charge of it's just behind, but I'm a little nervous.
But Brandon Reeves, the town of Westfield got enough sports to kind of deal with anyway. In the last one, anybody, I'm just gonna bring it up, Brandon. Any Indiana Hoosier basketball player, please stay out of Hamilton County. Please stay out of Westfield. Like I'm saying, black or white, it's not racial. Like, I'm saying, it's not racial.
Todd Leary.
Drive, I'm saying, Todd Leary, man.
Carmel.
Like, hey man, what are y'all doing? Are you black men? What are you doing, man? You know what I'm saying?
He was at a wedding, man. You don't get out of your car at 3-something in the morning there off 106th, and that's just asking for it.
It's in roundabouts. I think it's in roundabouts, man.
It could be those roundabouts. Most roundabouts, you don't know. The most roundabouts in the United States is in Carmel, Indiana, and damn near Westfield's working way on second to get that. So craziness. What else you got for us tonight, John? College football's coming, my man. It is coming.
College football's coming. The only thing I got from the pros, man, Brandon Ayuk and Jalen Daniels having a little go back and forth, man, about Jalen Daniels' mother's overreaching, like the locker room and that type of situation, man. It'll get settled, but you know what I'm saying? When you have these kind of disputes with players and whatnot, man, you kind of see where the team kind of going nowhere, maybe kind of end up flat. So, NFL intrigue, we'll get to it in the coming weeks, man. There's probably some couple quarterback controversies brewing around the league, and I still want to see what's cooking out there in Las Vegas with Mendoza. But man, real good show tonight. Shout out to the Fever, they got a win a couple nights ago, man. I know CC wasn't playing, but the Aces didn't have a full deck of cards. They didn't have a full deck of cards either, man. But a win is a win, and that team ultimately just kind of get consistency in that regard. But man, awesome show. Shout out to CM Punk, Phil, won the world. I don't know what's going on in WWE right now. I know a lot of Sheamus left. I know there's a lot of guys, saying a lot of in transition right now. But it's always good to saying to hear a familiar name like CM Punk kind of raise his tank. Win the title, man. So
Shams just came out and said 3 teams, as we said, Heat, Cavs, 76ers are the 3 emergers for, like Freddie said, for LeBron James. That was Shams 10 minutes ago.
Miami Heat?
Secondly, there has been a trade during our show.
Has it? Who got traded?
Had a little former Pacer got traded.
Former Pacer.
The Detroit Pistons are trading Karis LeVert and 2 second-round picks to the Milwaukee Bucks for Taurean Prince and Hamilton Southeastern's own Gary Harris. Pistons will create a trade exception for the deal, acquire LeVert, and pick up some assets. Gary Harris has kind of fallen off, man, ever since his Denver days. I feel like I didn't know he was still in the league.
Yeah. Gary Harris? I thought you said Gary Trent. No, man. Gary Harris, this is a wrap, man. It's over, bro.
Let me ask you this. What? Okay. And I hope they're watching right now because the TBT is coming up. But what is our friends at the Red Rose Thunder? What are they doing over there?
Load them up, man. Load them up, man. She loading them up. She got some athletes. I know some of the other
Coach
teams,
Mullen loading them up.
Yeah. Some of the folks that made the tour, are gonna be playing in TBT. But man, she got some.
They got an NFLer on that team.
Got some names out there, man. You know who be at the, what I'm saying? Everybody, well, they don't know because nobody really goes to the TBT except for hoop heads
Except
like
for
us.
us.
But like, yeah, man, Terrell Owens was out. You know what I'm saying? It looked like he wanted to play. I think that might be the ultimate goal. I don't even know. He might play for the Chattanooga team. I know he probably bankrolling it. But football players be one that had high school basketball careers or maybe even play a little bit in college. They still, want to, get a little burn out there. So see what they got. So TBT, Railroad Thunder.
Dominique Rogers-Cromartie. That's who
$2
they have.
million. It's $2 million this year. $2 million. I we wishing them well. You know who we rooting for. Coach Matt.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, I wish they would get here to Butler. They play over here at Butler. That'd be sick.
There's a lot of things popping at
I would
Butler,
ask
man. Y'all
Coach
gotta
Mullen
stop
if I can just put a uniform on. Let me sit at the end of that bench. I still got a 3 in me if it gets deep. If it's like up 30. Wow.
He got a corner 3.
Yeah, I got a corner 3 still.
There's a lot of things popping at Butler, man. I know a lot of folks don't give a damn about the NBA Cup.
I called it.
Whatever.
I had this information 3 months ago.
Yeah, the NBA Cup not be playing in Las Vegas. It's gonna be playing in Butler Hinkle, man. And, Broad Ripple, get ready. Broad Ripple, get ready.
John, the Bulldog closed.
It did, man. So did
And Pizza King.
Man, they saying it ain't a revenue because all those business still was getting money. They saying that the owner, kind of raised the rent, price gouging, man. They said they got a dip, so hopefully, they bounce back somewhere else in the Broad Ripple area. But
I'm trying to look. I don't even have a bracket yet for TBT. I'm looking for it. It's got to be coming up sometime.
Yeah, one would think like the next week or so.
Yeah, I mean, there's exhibition games coming up. The Ville versus La Familia with Kentucky and Louisville. They're playing Saturday the 18th at noon at Memorial Coliseum, and then they play on Monday the 20th at Freedom Hall, and then it's an if necessary game 3. So they have those. I don't even know how the hell the thing works anymore. I really don't. They're in there's an 16 teams, 2 brackets, 1 champion. There's an alumni bracket, and then there's a Las Vegas bracket. And we can apparently still enter a team if we wanted to get one. But the Red Rose War ready. Antonio Hester, Tavia Sledge. I'm gonna mess up this guy's name. Babaturi Ankabola.
That sounds like power forward center central to me.
LaRon Smith. John, you know LaRon Smith.
Yeah.
Jordan Henderson and Dominique Rogers-Cromartie right now. Those are 6 of their players. So, and then head coach, obviously, Coach Morrison. Looking forward to it. So we'll be chatting it up. We might have to get her on before TBT starts.
Get her back on, man.
Yeah, get her back on, talking a little bit. Anything else, John, before we go?
Nah, man, great show. Everybody check us out on Threads. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter.
Play that smart speaker.
Facebook, and anywhere in between, man. Thanks for watching.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys again next week. If anything breaking news, LeBron's decision comes at some point, me and John will come on for about 15 minutes live, and we'll kind of give our spiel. But if not, take it easy. Have a great week. We'll see y'all next week.
Thanks for listening to the Crossroads Sports Radio Show. You can find more episodes on iTunes and the Google Play Store. Be sure to like and subscribe for more Crossroads sports content.